What's up, Toy Fam, and welcome to your Toytally Cool channel. Yep, no more Iron Man. Iron Man? Iron Man? Today is Superhero Saturday, or in some cases, it might be Super Villain Saturday, as well as Superhero Saturday, because, you know, you can't have superheroes without supervillains. But Super People Saturday. And as you can see, and as I have stated, you don't see Iron Man anywhere on the table because we're giving him a pause. We have quite a few more, and we will get back to that. But for now, we want to take you to a different line, to a different story, a different universe, a different world of the Marvel Comics universe. This great world created by the late Stan Lee has been the subject of so much history and so much. It's a part of my childhood as a teenager. You know, growing up, getting into comic books. The X-Men have always been a key component of discussions with friends. Basically, when you got tired of the books, you got into the comic books, and the X-Men were just a phenomenal storyline that you could read for days and not get tired of. Today, we're featuring the X-Men. We're featuring the first X-Man. Okay? We all know Charles Xavier founded the X-Men because he grew up knowing that he was special, and then he found others like him. He built a school to teach these gifted youngsters how to use their power for the greater good. Contrary to his nemesis Magneto, who wanted to use the mutant powers of mutant kind to rule against who he deemed were inferior Homo sapiens. So that's the backstory. There's a lot more that we're going to dive into once we get more characters out. So after Cyclops, who is the first X-Man, there will be more. Okay, we will deal with more X-Men. We'll be opening a lot more of the collection, both heroes and villains. For now, let's focus on the man with the devastating optic blasts as part of his mutant powers. Is it a laser? Is it like a punch? Well, according to Marvel Comics, it's not a laser. It doesn't cut through anything. It's an optic blast. It can smash through solid steel. It's like a heavy punch. So the wider the aperture of the lens, the bigger, the stronger the punch. Now he can make the beam so small it can pass through a keyhole without touching the sides, or so wide that they can cover the space of a football field. But then, it doesn't cut through anything, it slams against something, okay? So there have been other iterations in the past wherein Cyclops was able to cut Wolverine's arm, or cut through something. It's not really cutting, it's just precision optic blasts that knocks it away or knocks it off. For any of you who are more interested in the history, you can just put it in the comment box. If you have more insights about Cyclops, put it in the comment box. We'd love to hear from you. So let's go into the toy and let's focus on it's not a box. First time we're dealing with something that's not in a box. It's on a card back, okay? And this is the X Factor Marvel, the 80 years Marvel anniversary edition of Cyclops. This is his classic X Factor uniform. You said, okay, you said it was X-Men. Well, the original X-Men were Cyclops, Jean Grey, the Beast, Iceman, and Angel. So all five of them moved out of the X-Mansion when the other X-Men came on board, and they decided, let's be a mutant hunter for a while. And then eventually they moved back into their let's protect mutants mindset. This was the classic uniform of Cyclops, aka Scott Summers, who was the leader of the original X-Men and who was also the leader of the first X Factor team. So the front is very straightforward. You have the figure, you have an alternate head, which is very peculiar for a very simple figure, and then you have an optic blast. And then you have the illustration, okay? It says laser light eyes. I'm not sure if it lights up. We'll find out. And on the back, it has his character description and the other characters of the same line. I think Storm, you have Wolverine, you have Silver Samurai, you have Iceman, and who's the other one? Cyclops. Okay. For now, let's do with Cyclops. It says age 4 and above, so we're overqualified because we're over 40. With that, let's open him up. Okay. Now, this is the most painful unboxing I've ever done so far because now you can't really put him back in the box because the moment you rip this up, it's gone. You know, you're going to have to display him one way or the other. So there's tape at the bottom where you get your cutter and just slice through the tape. Hopefully that opens up the cardboard panel, but I don't think so. I think this is stuck with glue. Yeah, there's really no other way to go about it but to just cut through the sides and pull him out. So we'll be right back. Okay, we tried to do it delicately. Unfortunately, there's no real way to go about this. I don't know if I can glue this back on. I don't know if I even want to, but this is how it looks. Okay. Yeah, it's really pretty stuck into the front, more to the front than to the back. So it has that dual, well, it's got that clamshell and it's got the cover. Okay. So it's a pretty straightforward figure. I don't think this is going to be a very long review, but it's a pretty straightforward figure. There are no plastic ties keeping him in place. So I think it's just a matter of pulling out, as we do with Super 7, we pull him out using his arms. You don't have to worry about destroying or pulling out the arms because there's no alternate hands or arms. But this time it's really stuck in there. There we go. Okay, now we've got one limb out. Everything is gonna follow. See how? Okay. I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out. I'm not getting out. Yeah. There we go. Almost there. Almost there. Yeah, you have to be very careful because although these are made out of plastic and they're pretty cool, they're pretty sturdy, but it might just break. Now, what these are is effect. It's like an effect after he shoots his optic blasts. It looks like there's some residual energy coming out of his eyes. Some people think it's smoke. Some people think it's some kind of what do you call it? Atmospheric whatever. But yeah, they think it's like when you shoot a gun. It's like that residual smoke. So let's do a quick review. Out of the box, he's not as stable. He doesn't stand well. Okay, I don't know if he ever will, because the feet are at a very odd angle. See, very odd angle. Okay, so I don't know if you move his legs forward and you bend the knee a little, I don't know if he will stand, but he can probably stand now. Okay. Okay, so let's start. The head tilt, as my favorite part of the body. He has got more head tilt in him than, say, the Super 7, so it's pretty good. Bow goes down. Twist is okay. Twist is okay. Mind you, he has an alternate head. Okay, the grimacing alt head. I'll show you that in a bit. And then the arms, yeah, same, 90 degrees. Reason why his hand is like this is because he uses it to, he puts this on his head or something. Yeah, something like that, like that. Yeah, somewhere like that, something like that. Okay, so there's a bicep twist on both arms, bicep twist. there are double jointed, and you can still see the pin. Okay, see the pin, double jointed elbow, and then the wrist flex and rotation. Very human, very human. And then you have the ab crunch. There's a very visible ab crunch. Okay, it's like a, you see that, I don't know what you call that, that hinge that serves as his abdomen, and then it folds into his chest. Okay, but aside from the ab crunch, which is kind of loose if you ask me, there's also the waist twist. So pretty dynamic poses, pretty dynamic poses. There's also the leg twist, or the quads, where you can rotate it. The hips move forward and backward, and can do a split, a limited split. No, it doesn't go 90 degrees, but it's good enough. And then the knees are also double jointed. One joint, two joints. And the feet, I mentioned earlier, pretty odd, because this part of the foot just bangs against the top part of the bottom part of the leg. Okay, so that's his posability. Let's see if he can stand. He's a challenge. He is a challenge, but we'll see. No, that's nuts. What's wrong? Okay, anyway, so let's look at the paint job. The paint job is pretty cool. It's accurate to his X Factor comic costume. A lot of spandex, a lot of flimsy material. Normally when he gets into a fight, after a while you see there are some areas of the uniform where it gets torn, or it gets you see the skin underneath. But that's pretty much what you get when you use spandex for a uniform. Now, if you look at this, if he has his ab crunch and he goes through his motions like this, it's a very dynamic pose. It's a very aggressive pose. And I like it because now, if you do the alternate head, and I'll do that now because I want to show you. Let's pop this right out. Okay. Almost there. Come on, buddy. There you go. Now the plastic clamshell might just be useless after this. I think it was not meant to be put. It was not meant to put him back in the box. Let's take the blast effect. Okay. I'll remove his head. Easy, very easy. Good, good. That's a good sign. Let's see how it does putting the alternate head back on. Nice. Takes about 2 seconds. Now this head compared to this one is a full beam. There's no gap in between the visor. Okay? Because that's after he shot it. But this one has a gap. There is a peg at the tip, at the end of the blast effect, and you can slot it in, and it looks like he's shooting an optic blast. He's firing an optic blast. There we go. I would love, there we go. Come on, come on. Look angry. Look angry. It takes a lot of jimmying around, but if you have enough time on your hands, then I'm sure you'll get it. I just don't. This is awkward. Okay, let's see how it goes. Oh, okay. While we're doing this, I was figuring out what's happening to the leg, and it's got a heel twist. So it doesn't just go straight up or back, it also twists inward and outward. I don't know what kind of basketball player does that. Okay, let's try it one more time. Let's try it one more time. I just can't get him to be stable. enough. I can't get the balance. Is it me? Is it me? Is it me? Or is it me? Earlier, we were able to get him to stand real strong and face forward and just grimace. But there we go. There. It took a while. It took about a couple of minutes to get there. But yeah, it's a nice pose. A classic Cyclops pose. He's just looking and just shooting out of his eyeballs. Yeah. Okay, let's do a toy review. Now, out of the box, first impression, nothing special. Give it a 2. I give it a 2. Nothing special. The colors are okay. The paint job is okay. You don't see a lot of bleeding in between colors, so the mold is probably done properly, and the paint job is done satisfactorily. Now, playability, again, not a lot of options. You only have the blast effect. You only have the alternate head. But what do you expect? It's not a very complicated figure. I think this was meant to be a posable figure, or you just play with him with other X-Men toys. So he's about 6 inches, which is about the average for most action figures now, and he's pretty okay based on the initial attempts to pose him. So playability is somewhere along the 2.5 out of 5. Now, price point, that's where it gets a bit better. It's about 4. He's got him for about $20, even less, maybe 17. So not much. In pesos, that's about 1,100. Yeah, that's what I got him for, 1,100. So not a bad price. It's not cheap either, but it's not a bad price. Now, in terms of shelf appeal, it depends. If you can get him to stand, he's going to look good on your shelf. Okay? I'm starting to get the feel of how to make him stand. I don't know how. But, yeah. If you ask me how I want him displayed, I would prefer to have him with the blast effect. With the optic blast. That's just me. I don't know about you. Now, even if you remove the blast effect, you will still see that there's some effects coming out of his visor. Probably as an accent to the whole, I'm shooting out of my eyeballs. Okay? Integrity or faithfulness to the source material, this is also a 4 out of 5, coming from the colors being exactly how it was in the comic books. The shade of blue might differ depending on the artist, but this is still reminiscent of days long gone when I was reading comic books just for the heck of reading comic books. So overall, terms of build or construction, I don't know about you, I don't like seeing the pegs. It's just clunky. It's just, I don't know, messy. Not as clean as it's supposed to. I understand the need for the elbow, for the shoulder joints or the shoulder hinges, but the elbow, I mean, you do a 2-jointed elbow and you see 4 pins, 2 in the inside, 2 on the outside, and this one even eats into the glove. So the detail was kind of sacrificed. Same on the right, 4 pins on the knees. Same thing. Those pins are so visible, you know it's a toy. Okay, so that's the kind of knock that I have for shelf appeal. So that brings it down to 2. Yeah, overall, I'd give it a 2. Not looking good for our first X-Men reveal or unboxing for Superhero Saturday, but I think if we set the tone to real expectations, you can only go up. There's nowhere to go but up, and there's probably more characters, more toys that have better articulation, that have better balance, and have more accessories. We'll go into the Build-A-Figure sets as we go along, and some special sets in the future episodes. But for the meantime, as we look into Cyclops, I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic that the two will just be because this is the first time we're looking at it, and our expectations would probably match whatever toy we'll be handling in the future. So with that, I thank you for watching this episode. But before we go, don't forget to hit like, smash that subscribe button, follow us on Facebook and TikTok, and don't forget to hit that bell button so you get notified once we have new episodes that come out. In the meantime, remember, toys are not just cool, they're totally cool. So happy collecting. Bye-bye.